Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. On this channel I post videos on sewing tutorials, sewing tips, and I also analyze and explain how outfits can be achieved. If this is something that you like, make sure that you click on the subscribe button. To my returning viewer and subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in again. Thanks for your support. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to draft an inbuilt corset dress with this v-neck. I'm also going to show you how to attach a yoke and a zipper to the back. If this is something that you like, make sure that you watch to the end. So let's get started. So first I'll go ahead to draft my horizontal lines, and on my horizontal lines I have 7.5 inches for my chest line, 9.5 inches for my nipple point, 12.5 inches for my underbust, 16.5 inches for my half length. Then you have your corset length. Your corset length is 4 inches or 5 inches below the half length, and then I have my blouse length as 23.5 inches. So I'll just go ahead to label them all. You'll see that I have 2 CL. Please take note, it is corset line, so that's where my corset is going to end, the M line. All right, like I said again, is 4 inches below your waistline. So next I'm going to measure my shoulder. I'll measure it both on the shoulder and also on the chest line, and that is how I got the line there. So next I'll go ahead to measure my nipple to nipple point, and that's 7 inches. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. I'll go ahead to mark that on my bust point, on my underbust, on my half length and corset length down to the blouse length. After that I'll go ahead to use my ruler to make a straight line. Next I'll mark out my dart. I'll be taking 1 inches at my left, and then I'll be taking 1 inches at my right, and I'll be taking half inches at my left. I'm going to do that down to the blouse length, and I'll connect it just like this. After that is done, I'll use my curve ruler to connect it down to my bust point. So next I'm going to take out my neckline. I'll be using the general 3 by 3 inches. I'm still going to reshape it when I want to take my yoke measurement, when I want to place it on my yoke, but for now let's make use of 3 by 3. Next I'll go down on my shoulder line by ½ inches, and I'll then connect it down to my neck point. Afterwards I'll go ahead to draft my arm. I'll be dividing what I have left by 2, and then I'll go out by ½ inches to form my arm curve. I'm so sorry about my voice. I have a little bit of cold, so just bear with me. So on my shoulder line I'm going to divide what I have left by 2 and then connect it to my breast point. So next I'm going to be going up by 1/4 inch. This is going to be my over bust. You can choose to use 1 inches depending on what you prefer, and you can choose to leave it at your chest line, but I prefer to have my over bust so that it will cover up my cleavages. So next I'll be marking out my dart, and I'll be marking 1/4 inch on both sides. Afterwards I'll use my curve roller to connect it together just like this. So next I'll be taking out my body measurements, and I've marked out my breast point. And next on my waistline I'm going to be snatching my waist by 3 inches. My waist is 30 inches, and I'll be taking out 3 inches. That's 27 inches. Now 27 divided by 4, that's what I'm going to mark here, which is 6.5 inches here. Then I'm going to add my dart allowance to it, which is 1.5. Here is how I achieved it. And on my blouse length I'll be taking out my hip measurements. My hip is 38. I'll take that. We are not snatching our hip side, okay? So I'm going to also add the dart which we have here, which is 1.5. I will add it to my measurement. Afterwards I'll just go ahead to connect it. Next, I'll mark out my side dart, and on my breast point I'll be going down by 1 inch, and then I'll connect it to my breast point just like this. Now to form my cup, from my bust point I'll be going up by 1/2 inches, and I'll go out by 1/4 inch. You can use 1 inch depending, but based on my size I prefer to use 1/4 inch. So I'm going to create this dotted line first, because this is going to be my guide on how to draft my cup. Now for my v-neck punch line, okay, I'm going to be going up by 1/2 inches on my underbust. You can decide to go below your underbust depending on how deep you want your v-neck line to be, but for me I want it to be a little bit above, or 1/2 inches above my underbust. Now to form my cup, at my dart area I'm going to be checking what I have there. I have about 3 inches on the other side, and I have less than that on this side, so I'll just go up now to increase it a little bit. Then I'll go ahead to use my marker to deepen the lines, or to make the lines more visible. So to form our curve, I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect this up point here down to my down point here. That's the bridge between the two curves area. So I will now use my curved ruler also. I'll turn it down here like this and then connect it together. Now you note I'm connecting it to the bridge, not the deep neck line that we have formed. I'm going to be forming the deep neckline while sewing, but I'm just illustrating it on this pattern. For the next curve, I'm going to go down by 1/2 inches on my chest line, and I'll go out by 1 inches at my side, just like this. Okay, we want the chest line, we want the curve to be free, to move downward free, so that it's going to fit very well. So I will just go ahead to use my marker to connect it like this. Just watch how I'm doing it, okay, so that the cup is going to fall under your armpits and it will be much more comfortable that way. So after doing this, I'm going to connect it from my 1 inches down to my underbust. Let's also take note that I have not closed my side dart, which I'm going to close and also reshaping that place. So I'll just go ahead to connect it like this and to my armhole area. So this is what we have. I'll go ahead to close my dart and reshaping the cup area well using my marker. So next, on my corset line, I'll go up by 1/2 inch to just form a little bit of curve at the hem line. So this is what we have. Before I go ahead to cut the 3-piece curve, let me quickly draft my back pattern. Remember, it's an inbuilt corset with a zipper at the back, so I am drafting 2 patterns for the back. So for the inbuilt part, I've gone ahead to mark my horizontal lines, and here I have my chest line, my half length, and then my blouse length. The difference between the half length at the back and my half length at the front is 1 inches, and here I have 15 inches. Okay, so I've gone ahead also to mark my shoulder measurement on my shoulder and on my chest line. So next, to form our neckline for the inbuilt corset, I'll go down by 1/2 inches on the chest line, just like what we did in the front. Okay, and then I'll go down by 1 inches on the other part, on the center bag. Next, I'm going to take out my body measurement. I'll measure my waist and my hip. Remember, I've taken out 3 inches for snatching, which is 27, so I'll just go ahead to mark my 27 inches and add 1 inches for that allowance for the back. I'll go ahead to measure my hip on my blouse length, and we just connect it together. So I'll just go ahead to connect my neckline, to draw my neckline. And for my back opening, that's the center back opening, I want the upper part to be open by 1 inches and then the lower part by 1/2 inches, because I want it, to be together below. So I'll just connect my points together just like this, and this is what we have. So for my dart, I divide what I have at my half length by 2, which is 3.5 inches. So I'll just mark half inches on both sides, which will become 1 inches at the end of the day. Remember I said I added half inches for dart allowance for my waistline. So when you are doing yours, don't forget to add your dart allowance to it. So next I'll just go ahead to label my patterns. I have my center bag and then the center side. So on my corset line, just like I did in the front, I'm also going to go up by ½ inch. Okay, so at the end of the day, make sure that you put the sides of both sides together, the back and the front, to make sure that it's the same. So next, for my zipper area, it's going to be the normal bodies. So I'm just drafting an half length pattern. So I'll go ahead to measure my bust and also my waist at the half length. And remember, we are snatching, so we want the zipper to fit well. So I'm going to be using what I snatched, which is 27 inches. Okay, and that is it for it. You don't need any dart for this one. Okay, so I'll go ahead to measure my neckline. Like I said, I'm using 3 by 3, which I might also change. So I'll go ahead to mark my armhole area. I went in by ½ inches. I divided what I have left by 2, and then I went in by ½ inches. So afterwards, I'll just connect the points together. And here we have our half length bodies. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to write this so that I'm going to take notes when I'll be cutting it on my fabric. So next I'll go ahead to cut out my patterns, and here I'm cutting out the front pattern. So before I cut out the cup, I'm going to go ahead to label it like this. It's very important. Now for the cup area, I labeled it 1 and 2, though I want to cut a 3-piece cup. So in order to achieve my 3-piece, I'm going to go ahead to use my tape to connect it together like this. So the first thing you need to connect is your breast points, your nipple points, okay. So make sure that it corresponds together like this. Then you can now go ahead to join the rest of the area. So while doing this, you want to make sure that you take your time to do it, okay, so that you make sure you are joining it together, not that it's going to have an overlapping. So make sure that you take your time to do it. So when that is done, I just put it on my cup area like this. I closed the dart on the bodies, and then I put it on my cup area like this so that we can see what the pattern looks like. Okay, so next I'll be cutting out my 3-piece, and here I was trying to mark it. I went down by ½ inch on bust point area, and then I connect it down to the nipple point so as to form the 3-piece corset cup. So I'll be using the bust caging method. So this is what I'm trying to cut here. You can choose to also go up by ½ inch on your breast point instead of going down like mine. Okay, so whatever you prefer, just make sure that it meets at your bust point or your nipple point. So next I'm going to go ahead to draft my yoke. Now to draft my yoke, I have to put another fresh paper down. Remember I said that I'm not going to cut my illusion line, my deep neck punch line on my pattern. Okay, we are going to form it while sewing, or I'm trying to add a paper to it to bring out the v-neck so as to help me while drafting my yoke. Okay, remember I said I'm going to add a yoke to it, so I am attaching that v-neck. This v-neck is how it's going to come out while sewing. I've also gone ahead to shape my cup area, okay, so that it's going to meet together. This is very important so that you'll be able to get your accurate yoke. So here is the pattern for the yoke. So I'll just go ahead to cut it out like this, and here we have the yoke. I hope you are not confused about the deep neckline that I'm talking about. I know you are going to understand when I release the sewing parts of the video, so make sure that you click on the notification bell to get notified when I post a video. So my next video is going to be the sewing part, okay? In this video I'll just be drafting it, so make sure that you click on the notification bell so that you get notified when I post a video. So here is my pattern cut out, okay? This is all that you need to achieve it. For the material, I'll be making use of an original skein net and also a crepe fabric. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.